Camille solo killing Shy on the Trundle is going to be less relevant in this particular patch. Absolutely, as Thresh is banned on blue side against Wolf, interestingly.
Yeah, not necessarily his key pick, but I was going to mention the bottom lane because that's where the focus has largely gone. It's AD carries that have been able to get a lot of the limelight, and Bang is certainly a person used to being there. As SKT are thinking about the Kalista ban.
After their last loss against Longzhu.
Wow.
I mentioned the Jace ban here. That was an obvious ban against Longzhu and Khan, but they're clearly respecting that Keen will also potentially jump on a pressure top laner. But just to note it, after their last loss against Longzhu to go 0-9, Wolf was the one who, on Twitter, said publicly, I apologize for the losses. I haven't been practicing as much as I should. If you look at his solo queue, he is spamming Janna, 12-2 in the last week. So 16-2. I tell a lie, 18 games of Janna in a week. So interesting to see if that translates to professional play. We've already seen some people mess with it, most notably Max in MVP Series last week. Yep, what SKT wants to think about. Patch 7.14, tanks in the top lane. A lot has changed since we saw them 6 days ago.
A lot of priority, though, going to be put on the Orianna here for Faker as they grab it first up. Peanut, understandably, will head towards his Elise. They have a few seconds to think about whether they want to lock it in, but makes a lot of sense there as the Kalista was the first pick on the side of Everett. As we catch up with the champion select, Malrung, we'll see where he wants to go. As, a bit of a dip back into potential lethality meta.
Be surprising to see Kha'Zix taken early, even though Malrung is a good Kha'Zix. Just came off a series with as many tanks as you could ever possibly stomach, and even then, I don't think everyone could stomach them as much as some. And they will go with the Kha'Zix, who they still has some early power. You don't have a Galio to pair him with, which is where I think KT was often playing earlier in the season. It'd be Galio, Kha'Zix, and the same rotation. Looking for a pick to answer the Orianna in mid lane from Faker. Syndra certainly does have lane supremacy on the Orianna in terms of pressure early. But if Peanut can blow the flash of Sceptid, that will be the start. And okay, Sceptid will jump on Syndra. Been a long time since he's played Syndra this season. He's 2-0, but it has been a tertiary pick compared to other options.
And this is a massive dip away from the tank meta as well, Papa Smithy. We've got 3 damage dealers already locked in for Everett with only top end support to be picked up. Everett's certainly saying that to hell with the old tank meta, we want to be doing some damage. Is now Faker to decide on what they want to pick up to round this out. Is going to be Alistar given a lot of priority as we move towards the second ban phase.
But this is actually really important. SKT fans should note that recently we've been seeing a lot of last pick support on the red side for SKT in patch 7.13, and it was often range supports like Lulu and Zyra for lane, and then they would just straight up lose 2v2 in some of those scenarios. It felt like their read on the meta in 7.13 was off. Now we finally do get engaged support from Wolf. Alistar has been a pick he has been on many times in the past. Seeing here, LCK total, 54 games on Alistar from just Wolf. Him and Gorilla have played a lot of the Alistar in the past. SKT had that extra time to research 7.14. It's good to see the Alistar. It's good to see some engage compared to the disengaged supports they were favoring before.
Well, speaking of disengaged supports, Papa Smithy, Ella was probably one of the most dedicated Janna players in the history of LPL when he was over there. The dude played a hell of a lot of Janna, and it looked like, when he was playing it long ago, that it was the only champion he could play.
Well, the Draven Janna days of Ella and Crystal are a long, far thing of the past, and also remember that Kalista and Janna don't have a lot of synergy, don't really want to throwing in the Janna, and you could go Nami style and just try to frontline with the Janna, then pull her out. But I don't think Janna will be looked at here.
What about the Fates Call Flash Monsoon as like a really, really bad Lee Sin insect play?
Don't think we're going to see it. We should mention, though, that Tristana from Bang is going to come out in this particular game. Very good laning matchup against Kalista. When you're trading Rend and the explosive shot, we take the explosive shot every time. As well, they denied a lot of split pushes, but Jax is still available. First Jax sighting on 7.14.
Yeah, we'll see what Ontara is going to bring into it, as now Everett have to round out this composition. Ella has his own pick to grab as they're looking for that Kalista Cannon combo. Please pardon the alliteration, theoretically, as Wolf to find that pick for Ontara to put towards the top side of the map, unless they want to go top cow. But Maokai makes a heck of a lot of sense, and looks like SKT are feeling out 7.14 a lot more based on the meta than we would have expected of 7.13 SKT.
It's a very old style of drop, but it's a very straightforward engage comp from SKT. It may not be full tank meta, but there's so much lockdown, so you see so many reliable ball carriers. They also have early game explosion if Peanut gets ahead, because if Peanut gets ahead and can gank the bot lane, with their flashes up, Kennen and Kalista will be merciless in harassing down the Alistar. But if they're ganked early and the snowball can begin, you can get the Tristana out of lane. So many options there for SKT. You gotta say that Jax potentially can run away with the top lane, other things being equal. But SK Telecom, if they take over the map, Jax's ability to split push in the face of Maokai will not be as relevant if Maokai's turret diving with the command protect on top of him.
Yeah. And we're also going to get a demonstration as to why we're calling it the tank meta at the moment if SKT are able to get themselves into that advantageous position, because Ever8 winners have ignored that idea completely, even picking up a squishy, basically damage-dealing support in the cannon there as well. So there's absolutely no frontline here for these guys unless Jax is going to build full tank.
Strong laning matchups though, so snowball to a great degree for the side of Ever8, but if the snowball doesn't happen, SK Telecom have a lot of options, Atlas.
Oh hell yeah, and we'll see whether they can cancel out that losing streak. Definitely don't want to let that one get to double-digit game score as SKT looking to try and pick themselves up against Ever8 winners. Let's do it.
If you needed a confirmation that the Ever8 fans have been, let's say, infiltrated by SKT side of the coin, I believe we have basically a full studio of SKT fans.
Yeah, there was like one dude. And I was actually feeling awkward, like, should we actually just start commentating? I'm not sure.
Still seems
Hashtag
a bit
free Tyler 1.
Still seems a bit expensive for Tyler 1.
Yeah.
Good news though, the cowbell's back.
Oh, that's true. There it is. Oh, off to the side. Keep it up, Wolves. Let's do it.
Yeah.
This is just the best day ever.
I know.
Ella, stop it. He was cowbelling. There we go.
He's doing some nice animation cancels into cowbell.
Oh, his rhythm's actually fantastic as well with this like animation canceling.
Oh. Gold lead to Ever8 winners confirmed.
Nailed it. Okay. Enough of that. Enough having a great time listening to the cowbell.
Syndra on Ori, lane pressure early, kill pressure at level 6. Bot lane, Kalista and Kennen, definitely heavily out pressure Tristana and Alistar, given Alistar's weak laning presence before they have the Fate's Call button. And Jax should theoretically get free farm in the top lane, Atlas, so a lot to like about Ever8, but like you say, the cost of getting all those advantageous matchups or pressure leads and snowball options is that they are very, very squishy as a lineup on the side of Ever8 winners. And if they start to fall behind, who's going to be able to deny the initiation and wombo? The Orianna Shockwave is going to do so much more damage than the Shockwaves in Game 1, where there wasn't as many targets that could potentially be taken down with Burst like there is on the side of Ever8 in Series 2.
Yeah, it does feel like Ever8 has the potential to just pop in any of these fights, especially as we get later into the game if there's any sort of gold parity between SKT and Ever8. I just feel like this is another one of those examples that you were talking about in our last series, Papa Smithy, where if SKT get any sort of a lead, it's crazy how much ahead they actually are considering that situation. Ever8 is going to need to snowball to get to a good position.
And Marang had a nice gank approach, but just as the ward on the side of SKT was timing out, so was spotted and has to back away.
Level 3 gank going to be denied as he hops over blue buff. Will isolate it and take it down.
And it's an interesting read on the meta from Ever8 because
yeah,
focusing on winning lanes and a split push feels like we're looking at patch 7.13 on the side of Ever8. And we just had a series between 8th and 9th place in the LCK where my main takeaway was, well, teams at the lower ebb with poorer macro, which Ever8 definitely fits into. We've seen them lose with a 13,000 gold lead and a Fed Kassadin. disincentivized because it's much harder to play 4-1 or 1-3-1 than it is to play a tank comp, as Elise is in a great spot here, waiting for a potential Alistair initiation.
Yeah.
Both lanes have got action.
Yes, Malrung's going to move himself in, but there's the dive, and First Blood goes down. Peanut somehow misses that cocoon. Looked like it went through Jewel, but we popped down there as that cocoon was in the air, so it might have been a little bit of a spectator disarray situation.
Double summon is used by Duel, but consider that Peanut had an excellent angle of approach, and Everate were overextended, and yet they didn't wait to let Wolf start off the initiation and then have the cocoon to guarantee a stun after the flash. So really interesting decision-making there from SKT that we only caught some of, trying to gauge all of it as we were watching topside as well.
Speaking of watching topside, okay, Tara's going to move himself out of the way. I thought he was going to get awkwardly cornered there for a moment.
He was already spotted by the first sap.
Yeah, exactly. The jig was up.
No kill pressure, at least.
Well, Faker is certainly taking control here in the mid lane. Has himself a bunch of minions to eat up, as well as getting a bunch of damage on Decepted as well. So he's going to grab his lost chapter when he goes back for the first time, and we'll see whether Everate's going to be able to create any pressure. Faker so far has certainly had control.
Multiple good lanes for Peanut to gank. He's been jungling bot side so far, but there's a control ward down from Untara in top. And they also have a setup CC for the cocoon to guaranteed land from the side of Peanut. So a lot of good options for the SKT jungler after being frustrated in the bot side. Did he have the summoner lead, but nothing else in this particular regard?
Yep. You can see Jules actually picked up Bang's skin as well as the full mana play. I like it.
Seeing Korn play SKT Syndra yesterday, and I was laughing about that one.
That was pretty good. Always good.
So in the early game, Untara has a significant pushing advantage over Jax, and Jax may actually just go play the Ruin King for the ability to largely ignore Maokai's damage, then lifesteal off a minion wave. So there may actually be no Titanic Hydra to be able to quickly push in a Maokai. Does mean that Maokai is more and more likely to be in a great position for the teleport plays that will probably define the game.
Yeah, does that mean that Keen's going to forego... Are you saying play the Ruin King first before Trinity Force?
Second. Okay. The Trinity Force part is implied,
bit of a given,
would say.
Yeah. Just double checking, making sure for those playing at home.
Double laning items from Untara is cool to see as well. Does go Doran's shield and Doran's ring.
Yeah, him taking about 1 billion damage from Keen up towards the top side. Not as fantastic, but was expected in this matchup. It's once again one of those times where the tree just has to cop it.
Last time we saw these sort of matchups, you know, Maokai against carry top laners, remember that he could use the Vengeful Maelstrom for shorter trades every 40 seconds or so and would win those because of the damage reduction and the magic damage. Now he only has an AoE ultimate that is very strong in team fighting, but actually renders him even weaker in 1v1. So it should be a very free laning phase for Jax, because even those once every 40 seconds trades won't be happening.
Well, that was actually a really, really nice trade from Ella, if you saw. Able to stun out Bang up on that bottom side. Yes, feel free to head back to your previous point. Just the bottom lane. Little bit of minute action.
It's just more about the happiness of Keen, you know, in the matchup against Maokai. As Faker's not happy.
Yeah, he's been isolated. Heal goes down. Extra movement speed creates some distance. Malrung not opting in for flashing on top or anything like that, but they get Faker out of the way and gives themselves some time with this turret. Might even be able to contest this buff.
Yeah, probably too risky though. They can start to walk over, but no setup done. And surprisingly, Duel and Ella didn't have lane pressure in bot lane as Kennen and Kalista, so there was no earlier wards put down from Space and Lane. Only now they're being able to push in. So if there was a team effort there, if Ella was able to roam up, absolutely consider contesting the blue, but not to be in this scenario.
Yeah, it was good timing for SKT as well, understanding where their lanes are at in order to get that one safely.
Good to rush from Keen, so respecting the potential for the full lockdown. And speaking of lockdown...
Yeah, in goes Peanut. He's looking for Jewel, who didn't have flash, and that is going to be an easy pickup for Bang. Evening out that kill score and also giving the Tristana a lead in the early game. Nice work from SKT.
Yeah, really nice lane gank coming through from Peanut. Tried ganking down the river earlier, not able to find any value. This time, Duel was in range of Wolf. Nice combo to open that up. So SKT get the answering kill, all tied up in terms of the overall kill score. Yeah, Keen having to go respectable. We've seen a lot of Jaxes go Ninja Tabi in 7-13, so Merc Tread's certainly going to be valuable throughout the game here for the Jax.
Yep, and you can see Ella.
Oh, so painful tanking up minion waves as a cannon.
Yeah, not a great time. However, he was able to do it for a little while, and will actually get Jewel at least most of these caster creeps.
We called that the key special in spring, because he'd be playing the meta disengage support Lulu or Zyra, tank up 80% of his HP, and then someone would just flash kill him. He did that upwards of 4 times in the season.
That's called selflessness, Papa Smithy.
And it's called greed. It's weird to think about greed.
It's not his own greed, yeah.
Well, I mean, it is his own greed, right? Because he wants his AD carry to get resources. So
that's true.
It's still greed for his team, but he was well punished for it. In that case, as you say, LA able to get out happily.
I guess if you're in solo queue, it would be a different. Like, it could almost be considered selfless.
I like going laning focused. If they're not able to get a CS advantage, and also their jungler's not playing around bot lane, kind of the awkward fact is when we saw Gorilla do this, there was a lot of thought behind it. You could auto-attack down the Rakan, very good laning matchup there, answer him in team fights. When you're against Elise, Alistar, if Alistar's flashes up, your time can be done, even if you have double control ward in the river. Wouldn't have helped him in a scenario like what we saw before, so they really need to be able to at least go even in this lane. Tristana may beat Kalista, but Kennen should be the equalizing factor to put the Kennen-Kalista lane over the edge, and it hasn't been so far in the bottom.
I want to draw your attention to the item build from Malrun. He's grabbed himself the Merc Treads as well, but that's a serrated Dirk immediately after.
It's Duskblade time.
Yeah, and is he going to go that before even getting anywhere near his warrior enchantment?
That sounds possible. It's not impossible. It's certainly possible. The Dirk gives you extra damage on your Taste the Fear, though, and it also interacts with the isolation damage, because it's 40 extra physical damage on your next ability after you kill an enemy.
Yeah.
So there's some great synergy there. We did have a phase where Kha'Zixes would go Tiamat before they finish their jungle items, so I think it's just an option of a way you can go. I didn't spot which she evolved. It might actually
evolve the ult.
Okay, so it's ult evolution. Faker was doing this in solo queue. Gets maximum value out of Duskblade, that's for sure, and lots of extra invisibility duration. So uses the first charge here, but is spotted.
Yep. Well, actually just gets it in the brush, of course, when you evolve it, so...
That's right, my apologies. I have to reset my brain now.
Yeah, exactly. Don't often see it at this stage of the game.
But it's the new thing with Duskblade being strong, with people messing around with ult evolution. Last time we had ult evolution in the competitive meta was Insect was playing tank Kha'Zix years ago now.
Yeah.
So seeing it back is cool.
It also gives you movement speed as well. So if you're running around in the jungle, you just get there faster. It's like free Moby boots, whilst also having the CC reduction, which is going to be pretty important against this composition that SKT's put together. Okay, Jewel and Ella pushing themselves up. Peanut's looking for a back. I don't know whether they're going to go overly aggressive, but Malrung's going to turn up. Peanut holds onto his position, as now he's going to get spotted. My god, that did a bunch of damage. Maxing that W first. The Q first is Ella.
So the full reward you get for evolving ultimate first is that basically when you're in the brush, you get 3 seconds worth of invulnerability. If you stay in the brush, if you leave the brush, you are invisible for 1.5 seconds.
As Scepted, he's in a little bit of trouble. Throws out the ultimate, but more like a fear tactic rather than anything else. As he took the full round of damage from Faker.
His ult was almost like ghosting. He didn't have Summoner Spell Ghost, so it was just a disengage ability. Didn't want to see any persistence from Faker to keep trading with him, but still will have to leave lane.
Jewel not exactly finding the Q damage here towards the bottom side of the map as Peanut's moving himself over. There's the attack dissonance. That ward, thankfully, in fantastic position to see Scepted, but not going to get taken down. And Malrung to make his way back.
And basically, so again, basically the theory here is that you proc Duskblade so often with our evolve first from early in the game. So especially before the hotfix, you're just doing insane damage, but you're able to go on scouting missions like this. Not spotted just yet as Malrung.
Oh, just misses Faker moving himself over there. Thankfully, the control ward made sure that Malrung wasn't able to get any vision down, and of course, he only had that trinket. As Kane just once again going aggressive onto Antara, but he's slowed down and pushed back by the Bramble Bash.
No lifesteal just yet, and the Bramble Cloak also, the Bramble Vest, I should say, has been started by Antara. So already we have to talk about the grievous wounds coming through from that.
He might be going towards something like a Iceborne Gauntlet.
It's still going to be a Righteous Glory.
Damn it, I want it to be an Iceborne Gauntlet.
It's going to be a Righteous Glory. 100%.
Righteous Glory is so much less exciting.
Agreed.
But it most certainly is.
Just to correct something small you said before, there's no longer the CC reduction on the Void Assault from the Kha'Zix. It's only the
I was
invisibility.
referring to the Mercury strengths that he picked up.
Good call. But it's just the invisibility. So it's just about Duskblade and invisibility from the side of the Kha'Zix.
Well, Ella finds the ultimate, actually gets the stun off onto Wolf, but thankfully he has the ultimate, gets himself out of the way. Malrang unable to get himself in there in time, and Scepted was even moving down, so good disengage from SKT.
Yeah, they actually had the lane ward, which is still there, and there's no information communicated to Malrang, so it looked like an over-engage, but in reality, it was only that because the vision existed for SKT. Getting the flash out of Wolf does relieve pressure from Duel, in the lane in particular, so that's at least a mini-win for the side of Everett. But after talking about the lane gank from Peanut, not much has happened on this game, and it's not like SKT have been able to generate a gold lead elsewhere. Their comp has a lot of synergy. They still are putting together strong items. The only scaling threat really to be considered on the side of Everett is Keen, and to his credit, he does have a 20 CS lead over Antara.
Yeah, he's gone back, almost has the Trinity Force completed as Shockwave is going to hula hoop. Scepted actually uses his I'm going to walk out of it tactic to get himself away. But still more pressure being put on. Faker just happy to win this lane rather than move around, use that ultimate sparingly in order to get a team fight happening this 15-minute stage.
Both teams, it's weird to say, but I think both teams look at an extended laning phase and they're not that unhappy. If Duel can pile 2 items together while Keen gets a laning phase that's free, Everett have those grand hopes of a Ren set team fight while Jax is pushing at the same time, whereas SKT look down their team, have no problems with their own scaling, and the reliability of their team fight comps means that every time teleport is up, fireworks should ensue in a team fight. So both teams kind of eyeing a longer game and feeling good about it. We look at the reliability of SKT's comp and also their prior history and give them the credit for the late game, but it's not like Everett have no win conditions as the game goes on, like we saw with those Kalista 4 tank comps as recently as last series. And we answered your question, straight up Duskblade Rush from Kha'Zix.
Yeah, and he's actually just picked it up as well. So Jules actually going to go in for an exchange, and he has the Blade of the Ruin King done as well. So could this be the first item spike where Everett might be able to capitalize, as they seem to feel like it certainly is. Is Malrang okay?
Does have ultimate available to try to get out. I believe he may have been spotted on the outside, but the answer is no, he hasn't been spotted. Watch this damage.
Oh my god, Peanut has to use the repel, gets himself over the side as Faker turns up very quickly. Gets himself out of the way. There's the flash from Ella, though, looking for it. Stun goes down, but Malrang had already disengaged. 2-man Shockwave, but Scepted was able to get that kill, and Ella is able to get out with the Fate's Call. Oh, no. A little bit unfortunate as SKT have got themselves round the side, and now the slow kitties make their way forward, and Malrang, the one caught out. Man behind enemy lines is Scepted as he does make it at least further away, and Malrang should be able to get that leap. The teleport coming in from Keen was definitely a good one. Blast Cone gets him away. It's going to be a 2-for-2 trade in the end.
Yeah, kind of amazing that it only ended up being a 2-for-2. The moment that SKT caught Duel in transition and basically killed the Kalista for free, you thought it was going to be an SKT cleanup, but the cleanup never came. Everett could have got a bigger lead there. They had kind of left Duel to suffer. But a bit of an overengage by the bot lane is what caused them to be slowed down a bit. You saw the burst damage from Malrang doing insane damage, so we wasn't sure if the vision zone caught them. The answer was no. He was able to get through unseen. And when you include the buffed damage to isolated targets, holy crap. Boom. It is 70% of the HP of Peanut gone instantly. Malrang actually predicts wrong. Thinks that the Elise will go over the wall earlier. Scepted able to take down one. See, at this point, it's good for Everett, but Duel dies just walking from bot lane. Second, not grouped with his cannon. Ella able to run away. Bang was able to clear him on the back end, so it was just a 2-for-2, which, given
just
how it was
amazing,
kind of,
right?
It was a bit of a seesaw both ways. At the start, like, everybody's going to clean up, and by the end, you thought it would be SKT. Ends up suiting both. As here's Malrung again.
Yep, there's the stun.
Oh,
Oh my god. No shockwave allowed to come out because he was just dead.
I mean, Malrung and earlier this week, Haru yesterday showing the value of a very early Duskblade of Drakthar. The Rengar yesterday, today the Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
Everett trying to say screw it to the tank meta. And early in the game especially, people are dying in one rotation effectively to Malrung.
It's Alien versus Predator, but both the Alien and the Predator are just tearing up everyone else.
Level 11 as well. Level ahead of Peanut.
Has his second evolution as well, so watch for that Q damage. That is going to be utterly disgusting, as that is what his chosen second evolution is. Understandably, of course, was normally for first, unless they are some bigger rockets on his shoulders.
I wasn't able to tell. Unfortunately, the hue of the skin changing with the R evolution makes it a little bit harder at glance to see on our smaller monitors.
Yeah, thought I saw some longer arms, but we shall see. We'll check in on Malrung because it is exciting to see what he's going to make happen with this Duskblade.
The Q would follow the all the burst theme.
Yeah, which does seem to be what he's looking for.
I think the moment you go R evolution, you kind of give up evolving W unless you fall way behind and want to check brush with the AoE. So we get the confirmation
That is the W.
Oh, it is the W. Interesting. Okay, well, we're learning as we go along.
This is definitely odd.
So he can already burst people pretty hard with Duskblade, and now he can also inch forward and check brush with W.
Yeah, you get the vision, of course, from the evolution. Extra slow as well, I believe. W was certainly a lot nicer.
Oh, that's kind of fun that his identity changed a lot, and in this case it's an item that brings the R evolution out, as abusing Duskblade is the main reason you evolve R first.
Yeah. Real exciting. Actually, what do you... Okay, Malrung eventually decides that the Caulfield's Warhammer is what he wants to go with, building towards his Warrior Enchant, finally.
Could I guess be Yomu's Ghostblade? Outside chance of that, but I think Warrior is probably the most likely purchase next.
Yeah, I feel like Serrated Dirk would have been his option.
It's fair.
Had he wanted to go that way, but...
Keen is sitting on a mountain of gold.
Whoa, yeah.
1,200 gold lead over the Maokai, largely just through CS.
This is farming very, very well. Of course, that first blood going down towards the top lane allowed him to get there as Scepted. He's moving around.
Pick comp nature of just these two is one rotation on any champion short of Alistair.
Yep.
Maokai, I guess, also, but even then, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I feel like even Ontara would have a bit of a problem. They just have to be looking out for Malrung. You saw what he did to Faker in that mid lane.
Deep teleport from Maokai. Okay, trying to exploit the difference in top laners.
Yeah, Fate's Call does come in. He's just going to try and get Ella out of the way. He's just going to look to stop this Maokai from getting anything done. Good dodge of the Cocoon, but he has to use the heal. Flash is being held on to. Actually, no, didn't have it up. Unfortunately, not quite there, and it didn't even matter because Faker was able to get there and stop that one. But look at this. Everett just say, well, screw it. We'll take all of your turrets.
You're going to take a top lane turret for sure. So much damage.
2 turrets in the mid lane and a top lane outer. Jeez.
That was so much pushing power just because the Kha'Zix has so much AD early. They're even looking to contest the Mountain Jade. It's just Peanut. He might just die.
Yeah, Malrung should be able to just slaughter him right now. There's the flash into a Cocoon, though, unfortunately. That timing was extraordinarily close. Oh, Shockwave. So close. Thankfully, the ultimate was there from Malrung to give him that slight extra boost of speed. Keen? He wasn't keen for that one. This gets taken down, but SKT, they do clean up, but there was a lot of mess being created. Okay, Faker going toe-to-toe, and that's going to be an easy one. The health bar was not there for Malrung.
He didn't have any vision, so jumping over just died because Faker had stayed taking down the Krugs. Everate, make the right macro choice by not rotating bot lane to try to save Duel and taking turrets, but then an overstay top and a brazen move by Malrung. These two players, 18 and 17 respectively, feeling the head of steam after taking down SKT early in this game. But giving up gold back to SKT with their reliable teamfight comp may come back to haunt them later on.
Yeah, certainly dangerous. And it feels like there's always this moment where the team feels like they've got this edge over SKT, and then they take it a step too far. And we see this so often against prior Rift rivals, SKT.
And you can't really deride Malrung and Keen for being emotional. These are the two young guns, 1999 and 2000 year of birth for those young guys. they're, winning against SKT in the early game, which already is a rush. Can you even imagine what that would feel like? But you get overconfident. Both of them on carries, both of them looking for outplays, and both of them falling in quick succession, not necessarily deciding the game, but halting some of the advance that Ever8 was on.
Yeah. Thankfully, able to translate that into multiple turrets in the mid lane specifically, meaning that they are able to open up this map, and giving Kha'Zix more room to play is certainly a fantastic thing when you want to isolate and destroy your opponents. Now has that Warrior Enchant. We'll see whether it is going to be the Ghostblade that he's building for next for the as much lethality and damage as possible build.
In a battle between tank teams like we saw in our first series, I think SKT will be happy where they are tankiness-wise, but you notice they have to focus largely on magic resist among them, but they don't have much armor, which against the massive burst of Marang will be a problem. And speaking of burst, Kha'Zix's always been pretty good at taking down Barons. They have the Calista secure. They're looking to trade a Mountain Drake for Baron, but SKT have already pulled off.
Yeah, Wolf is moving over.
Good read by SKT.
Immediately getting the vision in there, so Ever8 don't have the tankiness to do this. Accepted actually has to flash to get out of the way. Good scatter the weak. And Wolf is slowed by the rend. It means they won't have that.
Well, Wolf already flashed.
Starts.
Didn't have the flash again there, so it was interrupted some. That was off screen, unfortunately, but SKT with a good read. Don't say on the Mountain Drake. Could have been a Baron claim there from Ever8.
Yeah. Ever8 knowing exactly what was going on because they had the Rift Scuttle vision, of course. But man, testing the waters. And I do like it. I mean, it's a very decisive play from a team that knows they have a composition that needs to get work done now. Can't just fight straight up. Needs to be these sneaky, shady plays.
The item spikes are about perfect for Ever8 at 25 minutes. 3 items already completed on Scepted. There's 3 0-0.
Yeah, has himself a cheeky 20 CS lead as well. As finally SKT will be able to get this Mountain Drake.
Sort of game where, we talked about the reliability factor for SKT. The tanks aren't unkillable yet, but the Maokai in particular is venturing towards that territory with a couple more item completions. We always talk about how Kalista is never stronger than she is at 2 items. This is kind of the peak, the apex of Ever8's power. Apart from the Jack split pushes, they can maybe, just maybe, take the right team fight and win one here as finally Scepted's hit by an ultimate.
Yeah. Nice work of Faker to utilize the Q as well as, oh my god, the ultimate, not enough, the heal! And the scatter the weak, not enough to get the orb over there. Faker just keeping himself alive with everything he had.
And when you are able to use your R ultimate passive coming out of the brush, then press ultimate, you have 3 seconds of invisibility to close insane gaps without being spotted. They don't quite pick up the kill. It was only the Morellonomicon effect. It wasn't the Ignite that would have spelled the doom for Faker. They have to give up a lot of mid lane control, as Faker now will find it harder to find safe places to farm. But there's the item completion we've been waiting for. Untara has the Thorn Mail, so when the completion comes in on the Blade of the Ruin King, it'll be interesting to see what the side lanes look like for Ever8.
Yeah, and whether or not this item's actually going to put Untara over the edge when it comes to answering the Jacks, something that's unheard of, as we might be able to find out right now. Nope. Looking like they're just going to hit each other for a moment. Keen looking to head himself back. A lot of questions to be answered here about what this patch actually means for the split push versus the tank. As Ever8 have kindly given us a look in on exactly what this matchup looks like.
Scepted's off the map, and Untara's been caught by plays like this before. Trying to catch Untara.
Oh my goodness, Scepted gonna be able to get the stun there as they're looking for the dive. Really good twisted advance, but it should be another auto attack. Leap Strike is going to do it. Bang wants the kill and he gets it as well. Feel like it could have been Keen trying to deny himself there, but wasn't to happen as Malrang looking for Wolf, but Peanut just catches him out of the air. Can move himself over, knew exactly what was going on because he did have that Oracle sight, but Malrang gets out.
And Malrang was caught, got very greedy, flashing for a kill on an ulted Alistar. Peanut couldn't continue because he didn't have vision of where the rest of Ever8 was. So he couldn't take down Malrang even though he's very squishy. But still, at 27 minutes into the game, there are trades happening. SKT have not stymied this game. It is still a 500 gold lead for Ever8. This is actually becoming more and more the late mail of SKT's struggle rather than necessarily an instant return to greatness on patch 7.14. We like their draft. It's going to get into a more and more comfortable spot. But you look at Jax, He's going to have options in the side lane, and there's still opportunities for Ever8.
Yeah, Marong does now have his Blade of the Ruin King completed, so those questions you're asking before, certainly with an opportunity to see them through, as Faker farming things out on the top side. Remember, no flash, but Wolf flanking him.
I want to draw your attention to a lack of control wards in the inventory from SKT.
Yeah.
You have 6 items for Bang. He should be definitely selling his Doran Shield for some control wards. Faker still has a refillable potion. They only have 1 control ward on the map, and they're not able to get any sort of supremacy around the Baron in particular, which gives Ever8 more and more hope. Remember, they're basically a pick comp. Malrung and Scepter can still one burst most of the members of SKT, so getting advanced vision is so important. And right now, not very possible for SKT.
Yeah, look at Malrung just zip around this map as well. He knows that he has to play this aggressively. Bang. Oh, that was the greedy approach to that situation. Not wanting to use the leap to jump his way in, but still keeping himself with the option of getting out.
Ella himself working on the Righteous Glory. Will be another initiator build, basically the same as a Rakan, even though you're getting no value out of the mana on the Glacial Shroud. Ever8 are happy to see everyone from SKT in vision whenever possible, because it gives more time for Jax to split push down turrets in the face of Tara.
Yeah, Tara's trying to clear things out, but Keen just says, I'll bash the turret instead of killing myself on you. As, yeah, that sap magic, I know it got a slight nerf, but it's still dumb. Whoa, really good flash from Jewel, gets himself out of the way of Wolf. Doesn't have QSS just yet.
It's a happy trade from SKT, though. They don't use anything to get the flash away, just a headbutt. Cooldown, taking the flash from Duel.
I feel like I could have still been a definitely dead Kalista, but you're right. I mean, they'll happily do that.
But you think about how this game should play out. SKT should be thinking, okay, we got the flash down from Kalista. If we can get Scepted's flash, Ever8 can't really play 4-1 because they can't contest vision around Baron because they have no flash high damage champions. They'll just die if Alster has Headbutt Pulverize up. Instead of that, because they don't have the control wards, and it feels bad to harp on this again, but they can't actually force a zone of control around Baron for Ever8 to face check. So in the end, it feels like Duel and Scepter can both pick up farm and not be punished for being no escape AD carries and mid laners respectively.
Yeah. Certainly doesn't seem like Ever8 are letting go in any sense of the term. They've in fact extended this lead with that bottom lane outer turret falling. Finally the last remaining outer. As Malrung gets that slowdown onto Wolf on his way back out. Still, they're hunting for these picks. It's Keen in vision, going to be taking down the Grom. Tara in his pajamas, still just clearing out minion wave after minion wave, and should at least deny Keen from being able to make it towards the turret. Spirit Visage now complete. 3 items on the Maokai as they're moving towards the later game, and this is a dragon that Ever8 will be interested in.
SKT want to trade it just like we saw the trade attempted on the side of Ever8, though.
Accepted. Banshee's Veil kept by Scepted and denied onto Faker. Be an opportunity as Kane just happily takes this one down. Had the teleport available as well, so that's going to be the Baron started for SKT, but Ever8 have a way to collapse. Just not quite doing it just yet, and the Baron should just fall down to SKT. Easy pickings. So there's the Fate's Call just to get Ella out to safety. Scepted has the Banshee's Veil, so he's not going to get rooted down. And they still have this turret. That's going to be the Kalista turned on immediately as Keen has to flash his way out. There's the Shockwave, not doing enough work.
Double flash from Ever8 to get out of it. They're chasing though, Bang.
Yeah, the flash from Bang. Ella's just going to get taken down, ignoring the turrets. You're not a tank in the tank meta, Bang. That he's just going to ignore that fact and take him down underneath 2 turrets.
A smart decision making from SKT. They forced Ever8 into a bad scenario. They were slow to make the decision. Ever8 came in late to contest the Baron, and then peeling off with a team like SKT's with ball carriers and guaranteed point and click CC gave Ever8 no opportunities. 2 taken down, and they're going to break the base in 1 push.
Yep, should easily do it. Bang just has so much damage now, quietly 6-0 and 2. On this Tristana that's pretty much been ignored for this entire game. And SKT, that's going to be about a 6,000 gold swing. They'll go back to base and spend all of that on some fancy new items.
And you weren't feeling the power of the SKT comp until a scenario like this, where for the first time in the game, Ever8 was forced to react to SKT's plays as SKT was watching a Jax split push, as they were watching the team poke around. Duel does not have flash. They know that, they call it, the initiation comes true, and all the split pushes in the world don't matter from the side of Ever8 when you just barrel down mid. with this strong front line, with the reliable CC and burst. Everett have to respect it, they can't. And it's a heavy price to play because they had control of the game till just a moment ago, and now they may never find it again.
Yeah, this is catastrophic as far as the outcome. Faker still able to pick himself up. More items. Void Staff, Morellonomicon, and the Banshee's Veil done. Cheeky little needlessly large rod hanging out there as well. But look at this Tristana. That's 4 items done, Papa Smithy. He even has the QSS for the added protection.
And now you're trying to split push against Baron, which we have learned through the accumulation of many patches is a losing scenario, even for Jackson to Maokai. Trundle is forced out of scenarios better than this, and so will Jax be. Happy to tank up for Bang, who has free farmed his way to a significant CS advantage, and also now the kills start to come raining in.
Yep, about 7 away from a Flame Horizon himself.
Hasn't been the explosive rotational Tristana, but they kept at it. They never surrendered too much, SKT. And now they certainly do profit. Nothing Everett can do. They have to watch another objective goes down.
Yeah, you know that when a Syndra gets a 3-person stun and nothing actually comes of it, you've got a bad news story, as the kitty cats aren't quite quick enough to find anyone here. And that's going to be a second inhibitor all too easily as, okay, Septid's going to get his Banshee's Veil removed by a Flash Shockwave. Oh, baby.
Questionable.
Yeah. I think it may have just come up
could have.
As he was flashing in.
It's off screen for us, so weren't able to confirm that. This is what being outscaled by comp feels like. Everett have to watch. They don't have engage. They don't have a tank front line. Jax can start building around to us. That's not going to convince us of tankiness, especially in the face of Antara. And Marung's going to try an isolated takedown Bang.
Oh, really nice buster shot as Ella looking to try and make his way in, but doesn't have the flash. He's just going to walk at him. And that's going to be Antara getting his way in there. Bang to back him up as well. And look at this. Antara just takes 0 damage at all.
Ella's back up in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Faker a little bit further away. That was a small opportunity, but man, that buster shot got some value from Bang.
And SKT just don't need to play in enemy jungles from now on. They can just stay grouped as 5, remove any sort of advantage that would come through being isolated in the eyes of the Kazakhs. No need to play the sort of game they were playing a moment ago. The Baron buff really was the kappa for SKT. This is the sort of sick Baron buff power play you dream of.
Yeah, this is like the 10k gold Baron power play. It's already up to about 8,000 and we've still got... Actually, no, it's just worn off. Never mind.
Super minions slowly pushing in top. They're not going to be relevant, but in the mid lane, big minion wave pushing up as well. And Antara and Wolf can both shrug off the turret for a couple of seconds as Tristana gets a full explosive charge through.
Yeah. And you can imagine that SKT will probably just lead this minion wave towards the turret. Wolf going to head his way in there as well, so it's going to be the last inhibitor falling down. SKT just looking like a brick wall that Everett cannot get over. And there's the flash headbutt entrance. Ball carrying situation. The big cow able to do it. And that's going to be an obliterated Septid. Finally, the shockwave is actually going to connect. And Everett just relegated to the fountain. Absolutely nothing they can do against this SKT composition. And they will counteract the 9-game losing streak. No longer have SKT got themselves in this situation. They can now move forward, and we'll see whether it's going to be a 2-0 or not, as they'll take down the Nexus for the first time since Rift Rivals.
Let it be known that no team can inflict 10